Hello and welcome to Elecspo. Right, already this season we've seen plenty of managerial sackings. Steve Bruce got the axe, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was relieved of his duties, and Nuno Espirito Santo was told to bugger off from Tottenham. But all I want to do today is I want to see what would happen if every Premier League club sacked their current manager. So using Football Manager 2022, that is exactly what is going to happen. Let's dive into the simulation, let's see who your club picks as their new manager, and let's just see how they all get on, shall we? Let's go. Right, here we are at the start of the simulation. The 26th of July 2021 is the start of the season. A ball hasn't been kicked, yet every Premier League manager has been relieved of his duties. You can see there all 20 Premier League jobs are available. They are all up for grabs. The likes of Brendan Rodgers is now a free agent, Thomas Frank's a free agent, Thomas Tuchel, he hasn't got a job, Jurgen Klopp is begging for a job, and so is Marcelo Bielsa. He'll probably end up at Tottenham, to be honest with you, because he normally does. All 20 Premier League managers have been sacked. I'm interested to see how many of them walk straight into another Premier League job and see who else arrives in the Premier League. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go so far into the future to the point where all 20 Premier League clubs have appointed their new manager. Let's go however far we need to go into the future, and next time we see each other, every team will have a new manager. Let's see who it's going to be. Let's find out. Right, here we are, the 15th of September 2021. That's how long it's taken us for every Premier League club to get a new manager. We are 4 games into the new season. For some reason Chelsea have played 6 times. I don't know why. You can see the teams there at the top. Man United, Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool played 4, won 4. But we're not bothered about the results. We are bothered about who are the new managers in Premier League dugouts. We will go alphabetically. We will start with Arsenal, and they have replaced Mikel Arteta with Mr. Scratch and Sniff himself, Jurgen Loh. The Germany boss, well, former Germany boss, he's been replaced now, hasn't he? He is the man managing Arsenal. His first club job since he was the Austria Vienna boss in 2004. I mean, he's never really been a big player in club management. That's because he spent so long managing the German national team. But he's a big get for Arsenal. I mean, he's a bigger name than Mikel Arteta. Is it going to work out? Yeah, I think this one will work out. I think that's a good appointment by Arsenal. Aston Villa, well, they've gone for a Football Manager regular, Abelardo. I don't know anything about Abelardo. If it wasn't for Football Manager simulations, I wouldn't know who Abelardo is. But you can guarantee that in every Football Manager experiment, this guy always gets a job in the Premier League. Sometimes it's Watford, sometimes it's Newcastle, and in this simulation, it is Aston Villa. He's the man who's replacing Steven Gerrard. Was the Alaves manager, he's been at Espanyol, he's been Sporting Gijón manager. He's only really worked in Spain, and now he's got the chance in England. A former Barcelona player, plays 4-4-2. I'm going to be honest with you, I think by the end of this season, Abelardo will have been sacked. Next it's Brentford, and they have gone for Frank Lambard. Frank Lambard has finally got another job in the Premier League. Sacked by Chelsea in 2021, he was linked with Newcastle, he was linked with Norwich. Didn't get either of those jobs. It was reported that he didn't want it because they were so low down the table. Not really sure what he's expecting, to be honest with you. I mean, he was lucky to get the Chelsea job when he did. But here he is managing in London once again, and he is the Brentford manager. I don't actually think this is going to work, just because sometimes in these simulations Brentford just don't stay up, and I bet they'll get to about April, they'll be going down, and they'll get rid of our Frank. That's what I think is going to happen to Super Frankie Lampard. Next we've got Brighton, and they've gone for a curveball, going for Mark van Bommel. That is that's a strange appointment by the Seagulls. I mean, only managed PSV, didn't last long there. Wolfsburg didn't last long there at all. And now he's got the Brighton job. But he's disciplined. He's disciplined and he's adaptable. That's good, I guess. He's determined, but not very fit. Well, not very good at getting players fit. Surely it's easy. Surely you just say to the lads, run a few laps, until you're tired. I mean, clearly that's beyond Mark van Bommel. Next we've got Burnley, and probably the strangest appointment we've got so far. They've replaced Sean Dyche, the legendary Sean Dyche. He's been replaced by Mexican boss Javier Aguirre. I mean, that's a huge shock. The Monterrey boss has came to the Premier League and he's managing Burnley of all clubs. I'm going to be honest with you. Actually, no, it is. This will work. Tactical style, route one. He plays direct football. He's perfect for Burnley. Chris Wood's going to score more goals than ever. Just mark my words. On to Chelsea, the first mega club we're going to look at. Sorry, Arsenal. And Chelsea have gone for Zinedine Zidane, a huge name arriving in the Premier League. The man rumoured to be the next Man United boss. Well, either him or Pochettino, probably Pochettino. But Zinedine Zidane has finally arrived in the Premier League. 2 spells as Real Madrid boss, and now he is managing a different club. He's came to Chelsea replacing Thomas Tuchel. Huge wages, £155,000 a week. And just with the quality of this Chelsea team, this can only go well for Zidane. I mean, things would have to go royally wrong for Chelsea not to do well in this first season. Zidane's a hard one to judge because he did incredibly well with Real Madrid, but it was a great team. But then again, he did win countless Champions League. He's a hard one to judge, and it's one to watch. Later on in this simulation, we go to Crystal Palace, and finally we've got a Premier League manager who was recently sacked, back in work, and it is Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche is the Crystal Palace manager, and you know what? I think that's a bloody good fit. Good appointment there by Crystal Palace. Next we've got Everton, and we've got a second Premier League manager who's back in work pretty quickly. It is Graham Potter, one of the up and coming youngsters in the management game, in the management sphere if you will. Graham Potter is tipped to manage a bigger club than Brighton, and that's exactly what's happened here. He's got the Everton job, replacing Rafa Benitez, who's probably playing a bit more attractive football, but it's just whether they can score goals. I mean, at Brighton, yes, they create a lot of chances, but they don't finish them. But at Everton, Graham Potter does have the luxury of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so perhaps this could be a match made in heaven between Graham Potter and the Toffees. Next we've got Leeds, and they have got Slaven Bilic. Slaven Bilic, you know what he is? He's a fantastic pundit. Remember, I think it was the Euro 2016 maybe? He was on ITV and he was absolutely fantastic. But in this simulation, he is the Leeds manager. Last seen in England managing West Brom. He was pretty harshly treated there at the Hawthorns, and unsurprisingly Big Sam replaced him and he couldn't keep them up. But Slaven Bilic back in the Premier League, and I'm going to be honest with you, I like Slaven Bilic, but I don't think this is going to work. I think this could be a bad season for Leeds, and Slaven Bilic will be out of the job by Christmas. Next it's Leicester, and they've got a big name replacing Brendan Rodgers. It is Erik ten Hag of Ajax fame, the man who's built some sensational teams at the Amsterdam Arena, got some incredible players, the likes of Antony, he brought through Frankie de Jong, got the best out of Dusan Tadic. We saw Matthias de Ligt just become an absolute revelation under him, and he is the Leicester City manager. Got a great team to work with there, lots of young players, lots of talented players, and that could be a really good appointment. And you know, Erik ten Hag is probably a better manager than Brendan Rodgers, so Leicester have really looked out in this simulation. We move on to Liverpool though, and oh my god, they've actually gone for it. Liverpool have replaced Jurgen Klopp with Steven Gerrard. At this point in time, Steven Gerrard hasn't managed in the Premier League. Obviously at the start of the simulation he was the Aston Villa boss, but they hadn't played a game. I can't believe they've actually gone for it. That is an incredible risk. Basically what they've done is Steven Gerrard has gone from Rangers directly to Liverpool after just one Scottish Premiership title. That is... oh, you know what it is? This is actually going to go really well though, because Liverpool are just mint on Football Manager. They could have a toad managing them and still win a Europa League. Speaking of Jurgen Klopp, I'm not calling Jurgen Klopp a toad, I'm ex-Liverpool manager. He's the man giving the reins at Manchester City, replacing Pep Guardiola. How do you replace one of the best managers in the world? You get someone who's equally as good. Jurgen Klopp at Manchester City. I mean, that game between Liverpool and Man City is suddenly even more fierce than it was before. That's a big appointment by Manchester City. But what about Man United? Another former Premier League manager, Thomas Tuchel, the Bond villain himself. He is replacing Ralf Rangnick. Ralf Rangnick had only been there 2 seconds and he's out the door, replaced by Thomas Tuchel. If Thomas Tuchel can do for Man United what he did for Chelsea, then this will be perfect. Good luck to him. What about Newcastle and their Saudi riches? Well, it's Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers was heavily linked with the Newcastle job when the takeover happened, when there was talk that Steve Bruce was going to be relieved of his duties. Then eventually it transpired that Brendan Rodgers didn't want to leave Leicester, which was fair enough considering Newcastle were embroiled in a relegation battle. And Leicester are, well, Leicester. But a great appointment there for Newcastle, picking up the free agent Brendan Rodgers, and a team to watch in this experiment. What about Norwich? Well, they've gone for Vladimir Ivic, former Watford boss. No, that's going to end really badly. I'll tell you that for now. Bad appointment there from Norwich. It's going to end in tears. Next we've got Southampton, and this one's a strange one. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, another manager who was sacked at the start of the season. I didn't sack. I mean, he got himself sacked for the appalling results that were happening at Old Trafford. And that kind of tells you where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's reputation is. He's got straight back into a Premier League job, but nowhere near the top half. Well, I mean, he's actually doing quite well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Southampton manager, he's had a great start after 4 games, 3 wins and a defeat, sitting in 5th place. That's pretty good. Maybe he's Man United with a problem, not the baby-faced assassin. But by the end of the season, we'll find out what the truth is. Next, it's Tottenham. And as I said, Marcelo Bielsa, the Tottenham Hotspur manager. I mean, Christ, it's just so predictable. I mean, Marcelo Bielsa could be 6 foot under and he'd still get the Tottenham job on Football Manager simulations. It's just nailed on to happen every time. On to Watford now, and they have gone for former Barcelona boss, Quique Setien. Been at Las Palmas, Real Betis, then Barcelona. He just didn't really last very long at Barcelona. Plays exciting football, but is that going to work at Watford? He's only getting 18 grand a week. Christ, I mean that's obviously a lot of money. It's more than I'm making. It's more than you're making probably. Then again, I don't know what you're doing. You could be Quique Setien for all we know. But for a Premier League boss, that's not a lot of money. I think this one will go okay though. I mean, Watford normally do well because they're bloody sponsored by the game. What about West Ham? Well, I'm not sure about that. But then again, people said that about David Moyes. Twice. They've gone with Claudio Ranieri, which is easy for me to say clearly. Leaving Watford, going to West Ham. Yes, he's a Premier League winner. Yes, he's a veteran of the game. Yes, he's got a nice pair of glasses. But I mean, even if he does well, he's probably going to retire in a year. That's not a good appointment by West Ham. And what about Wolves? They have gone with, if I click the button, I don't even know who that is. Frank Verkouteren, some Belgian bloke, the Antwerp boss. Previously at Anderlecht, was the Belgian manager in 2000. I don't know who this guy is. Sorry to be ignorant, but played for Anderlecht in the 70s. Quite good at scouting. Could be an assistant manager. I mean, that's going to end in tears for our old Wolves. But those are your new 20 Premier League managers. Who's going to do well? Who's going to fail? Who'll be sacked by the end of the season? Let's simulate until the end of the campaign and let's see what happens. Right, here we are at the end of the season and the Premier League title has been won by Steven Gerrard and Liverpool. Yes, he's still the manager. I told you it would go well. He's only just won it, mind. What a title race. Just 2 points ahead of Manchester United and Manchester City. Liverpool drew on the final day, but it didn't matter because they already had the title sewn up, so it just made things a little bit closer. What a title race. But let's have a look at the rest of the table. As I wasn't surprised. Norwich relegated and Wolves relegated. Watford, I'm a little bit surprised, but I mean it's not the biggest shock. Burnley didn't do well with Javier Aguirre, I assume he's probably been sacked. And Newcastle didn't do very well with Brendan Rodgers, just surviving by the skin of their teeth. In fact, it was a final day win over Wolves, which put Newcastle out of the relegation zone above Wolves themselves and condemned the old gold to championship football. Elsewhere in the league, Arsenal came 5th, gone well with Jurgen Klopp. Leicester in 6th. You've got Aston Villa finishing above Tottenham, and Leeds getting into the Europa Conference League in 9th, suggesting they've won a cup. But what I'm here to say is who's been sacked, who's survived. Let's have a little look at the manager movements. Obviously the ones at the bottom are just the ones that happen normally. Let's put them in numerical order. Numerical order? That's not the right turn of phrase. Anyway, the first new manager to lose his job was Brendan Rodgers. He was sacked by Newcastle on the 22nd of January 2022, so it wasn't him that kept Newcastle up. Instead, it was Paulo Fonseca. The reason he was sacked, players lost confidence. Wow. Marcelo Bielsa was the next to go on the 5th of March, sacked by Tottenham Hotspur, despite the fact they keep appointing him. He was replaced by Ernesto Valverde. Here's a surprise for you. Wolves sacked Frank Verkouteren. Ooh, shocker. Replaced by Gennaro Gattuso. I mean, I didn't know who he was, didn't think he'd do very well, and I was right. Norwich got rid of Vladimir Ivic. Again, not a surprise. And Watford got rid of Kike Setien. But the majority of the new Premier League managers have retained their jobs. Obviously, the clubs are happy with what they have done. Everton, how they got on, they came 12th with Graham Potter, Calvert-Lewin, 19 goals, nearly getting himself the golden boot, that's the word I'm looking for. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with Southampton, he's done alright there, 48 points. And you know, it's fair play to Claudio Ranieri, he's done quite well as well, he's done okay. Actually, for West Ham, that's not very good considering how good they are in reality. And I was wrong about Frank Lambard. He kept Brentford up and he kept his job. Well done, Super Frank. But it's been all about Liverpool and Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, in his first season as a Premier League manager, is finally a Premier League winner. He has done it. He got the job on a technicality like Giggsy back in the day. But unlike Giggsy, Steven Gerrard has won a Premier League title. Are these managers better than the ones you've already got? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you'd rather have these guys, yeah, maybe you would. Is Zinedine Zidane better than Thomas Tuchel? Probably not. But Man City without Pep Guardiola only coming third with Jurgen Klopp. But it's Steven Gerrard who is the Premier League winner. The slip is no more. They didn't let it slip. Steven Gerrard has managed Liverpool to Premier League glory. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.